Welcome everyone. Today's video ought to be a fun one for you. We're going to talk about some blacksmithing tools from the past. This is a Blacker industrial hammer made in the early 1920s. And what a great piece of machinery, and specifically to be designed in that time frame with the tools that they worked with then. Extremely heavy duty. This thing weighs close to 4,000 pounds on its own. And this was in a rail yard. They were making rail components such as track, plates, railroad spikes, anything they needed for the rail yard, as well as anything else they would have had to repair during that time frame. And what a piece of machinery. Now this thing does operate in its current condition. It has the original motor on it. My concrete in the garage here is not thick enough to actually support this striking the anvil. So this is something that may get installed in the future. But at this point, it's just a really nice conversation piece when the guys come over and we're sitting in the garage. What makes this unique is it has what's called a traverser on it. So the hammer will actually move along this rod wherever you need it to work on the anvil. So this was bolted into place on a mount in conjunction with the anvil. The hand will come up and around the anvil itself, so that way as you was pulling steel from the forge, you'd step on the pedal and start forging your metal. And again, this anvil, they were forging some large steel on this.
I'm swinging it around and we'll take a look at the anvil now. Look at that monster.
This combination here is close to 1,500 pounds.
This is a Fisher anvil, and the base is 15 inches across. We're 16 inches tall, 32 inches long, and the top's 6 inches across. The hardy holes are 1.5 inches. Does have the set down in the anvil, and that's a 6-inch by 6-inch set down in there, inch deep. The base is also adjustable, so if you needed to move the anvil to the side, left or right, for any reason, just slides right along this base here. This anvil has a perfect sound to it. Even out on the horn, I mean, it's just solid. And you can picture this big old girl whacking away on this thing to whatever they was building. Again, 1.5-inch hardy hole, so that tells you industrial. It's hard telling how much steel they pounded out on this thing. And just really cool to own a part of history and know that somebody earned their living from these two tools. I know Forged in Fire's proud of Big Blue, but you know what? This one's older than theirs. Probably heavier too. This is a really nice anvil as well. This is a modern day anvil, a couple of years old in fact. This is 100 pounds and 100% tool steel. Another fine anvil. Of course, now we're setting on a 300-pound block of walnut. This anvil has a 1-inch hardy hole, does have a Pritchell hole. We have bending forks on the end of the anvil as well as a set-down ledge on the horn. Really good farrier anvil, but I enjoy working on that one as well. And the height here helps me a bunch because it's a little bit closer up to where I need it. Now this Mandrel was also in their blacksmith shop where I picked this stuff up at. And they would have used this extensively too. And again, in the 1920s, they were still working on wagons
as well as starting into the automobile side of things. And they could have forged anything they needed to and shaped anything they needed to with this mandrel here. So you could stick steel in and turn and make this radius all the way up to 15 inches at the base, or make any type of ring that you needed to here on the top of it. So this was another essential part of any blacksmith shop, and they would have used this repeatedly on a daily basis. And I know a lot of you have seen these, and this is for the coal forge. A friend of mine gave me this. Thank you, John. This is around the same era as the anvil and hammer, and still works. I mean, just absolutely, you can start a coal fire right now. But again, those guys knew how to put things together back then, and they would last a lifetime, several lifetimes by now. And just they had a lot of pride in their work, you know it. So you can see the hammer. Now when I picked this up, as I said, it was working, and again, it was bolted together. There was a cast iron plate. They'd actually poured concrete around the plate, so we couldn't get it up. But it was another 1,500 pounds or so. So by the time you got everything added together, I mean, you're going to be in the neighborhood of 8,000 to 10,000 pounds, depending on how it was set up and configured. But bolt holes in each piece in order to keep it a specified distance. And again, this hammer would have set over here in the front, and you'd had a foot control that come around down here to where you could just operate this hammer with your foot and run that back and forth the entire length of the anvil to work whatever metal you was working. This being industrial tools, it's hard telling us truly what all they was manufacturing. Just really cool. I mean, it's neat to look back and see what they were working with, you know, 100 years ago. I do have propane cores that I built myself, fire bricks, and just simply a metal frame to hold it together, burner in the top. This thing is really convenient for keeping metal at a operating temperature to where you want to forge at, straight out of the fire and onto the anvil. I really enjoy working from this anvil. It's a lot of fun. And the funny thing is it never moves. I mean, it sits right there. Well, there we go. Just a quick video covering some tools from the past, and even some now at modern time. And we've all worked for a living, and we know how exciting it would have been for those guys back in the day to get these tools and working with them every day. So you can bet somebody went home and said, oh, you've got to see what they brought in today, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I got to try to push this thing back over into the corner, and I'm not so sure I can. This thing is heavy. I'll talk to you on the next one.